Welcome back to Divulgence, everybody. I am happy to be welcoming back my good friend, author, filmmaker, researcher, William Ramsey. How you doing today, William?
Doing good. Glad to be with you again, Jordan.
Always a pleasure. Today we are going to be talking about the Parallax Views, starring Warren Beatty. It's an Alan J. Pakula production. It's part of what some call his Paranoid series, which also involves Clute with Donald Sutherland, which is a great movie, and one of my all-time personal favorite movies, All the President's Men with Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford, rest in peace. But this one is also an amazing movie. It's got a lot of kind of nods and themes related to a lot of the 60s assassinations that went on, but a lot of the stuff is actually very relevant today with stuff going on. So yeah, we're going to run through that movie. We're going to show you some slides and kind of break down some of the different Easter eggs and imagery and symbolism and whatnot. So where would you like to begin, William?
Just like you said, you did the background to the film. It is relevant to today. It's very much like the paranoid thing that involved Beatty. And in real life, he was involved in the 1968 election, much like Frankenheimer, RFK, where RFK got the nomination and was shot. I think it was June 1968. And I think it was it affected Frankenheimer and Beatty. And Frankenheimer I've covered recently because of Manchurian Candidate. We did Manchurian Candidate last time.
Correct.
People who don't know. So this was kind of like like I was thinking another episode, this is what came to mind right away in the context of Charlie Kirk and all these other assassinations. And I was just on Sam Tripoli's Tinfoil Hat, who you've had contact with. And he named it the season of our episodes. The season of assassinations is upon us. And I think that's very apt and correct. And I think it's important how these movies, even though they're fictional, they have themes in them that rhyme or overlap with reality. That's why they're made, right? So even though All the President's Men is fiction, but it's obviously like attempted to be I would say it's from the left view of All the President's Men and gave credit to those two guys. That's a whole different story. That's a whole nother show. But I think Parallax View is really important. 1974. There was based upon a book by a guy by the name of Lawrence Singer, who had an intel background. He was a member of the OSS, precursor to the CIA. So this guy knew espionage and things like that. And his book, this isn't one of those things like Manchurian Candidate, where the book they base the film off the book. The book is very different in my understanding. I haven't read it all the way through, but it's very different than the film in that Lawrence Singer places this kind of parallax view about people getting killed after JFK, which is really a true story. And this one is different in that there's a bunch of assassinations after a fictional character, Senator Carroll, who was killed at the Space Needle in Seattle. And he kind of infamously stated, I think it's a very important phrase, and I've looked at this film over and over again. I've done a show with the PSYOP Cinema guys, but I've looked at this film over. He says something very important right before he gets shot. I'm too independent for my own good. And it just ties into reality, because if you follow the lead up of Kirk, I've been called too independent for my own good. If you look at Charlie Kirk, and what led up to his assassination in September 10th, he was becoming more independent, and it seemed like he was morphing and growing. And if you look even farther back to like the assassinations of the 60s and things like that, you actually kind of see that same process in a lot of those people who were shot. Like Malcolm X was changing and morphing and kind of moving away from the Nation of Islam, is my understanding, or MLK kind of speaking out against Vietnam and things like that. So he wasn't just a civil rights leader. He was kind of like a cultural leader too. And so I think that some of the themes in this film, and we're going to spoil the living daylights out of this film. So if you haven't seen it yet,
go watch it, guys, right now. We'll wait.
It's worth your time. It's really, and the ending is not a positive ending. It's not something where like things are tied up.
Ending,
yeah, it's a great ending. It's a
It is.
shocker, really.
It's a true ending, right? It's a true ending.
Yeah. No, it's incredible. But I think it reflected those times because a lot of those assassinations were not resolved and have not been resolved to this day. We're still bickering about JFK documents in 2025. And it's an incredible event. That date, like all Americans, even though I wasn't even born yet, like we're still remembering November 22nd, 1963, because it was such an important change of an event. And so I think that Charlie Kirk will be something different for this generation. Charlie Kirk will be this generation's lone gunman. Like all these themes are popping up again that were in this film too, right?
Yeah, they all pop up in this film. Absolutely.
Right. So I think it's perfect time for us to be talking about it.
Agreed. So I guess we'll get into the assassination, the first assassination first. I would assume we'd start there.
Yeah, I think that we start there. We're going to ruin the clip. One of the interesting things just at the outset is the film is bookended by 2 Warren Commission exemplars.
Yes, that's right.
They're playing off the Warren Commission, and they both say both assassins were a lone nut. They said this is a press conference. There will be no questions.
No questions.
So they're just stating like this is what we know. So it's like a star chamber or something like that, and it happens at the very end. And I think that's a good device to kind of say like, oh, this is like the consensus opinion, and you better believe it, right? And I think that's happening with Kirk. Like Tyler Robinson shot him with a 30-06. I mean, it's incredible, like all this rifle stuff that's aped in this movie and that movie, and I mean, in the Kirk assassination. And like apparently you're not allowed to question whether somebody else did it in the I don't watch the TV, but apparently you're not allowed to kind of question the narrative that, you know, Tyler Robinson did it. And they did all these weird stuff, like just taking apart the Kirk assassination. He's not shot with a 30-06. A 30-06 will take down like an elephant, like a huge elk or like a moose. The bullet cartridge is like 3 inches long. It's huge. It has like kinetic force of like 1,400 pounds per square inch or something crazy. Like Charlie Kirk would have shown like huge. So even that's a problem. And then the guy like changes clothes, supposedly takes apart the gun and puts it back together. Like these stories are not credible. They're not credible. And then it takes time to like text his tranny furry boyfriend.
Oh, that script is just very odd.
It looks like something I would get if I like asked ChatGPT.
Exactly. That's what a lot of people have said, right? It's like it's something AI would spit out. Like a lot of people say, like people his age don't use commas. You know, a lot of weird stuff.
And he's a smart guy, like Tyler Robinson, the one that's portrayed on his mom's Facebook and all these other things. He's a high functioning person. He had a 4.0. I think there's video of him getting his scholarship. He apparently had a 34 on the ACT. That's like 99th percentile. And so he's bungling this shot that he shot Charlie Kirk because of hate. Which is very interesting language. It kind of apes like ADL language too. Like Charlie Kirk is a hater, which is really sus language. But I mean, just the overlap between this and the other thing is like these weird security services that are around Kirk and the security guards who do weird things. Yes. If you go back to like some of these assassinations, like RFK, there's a weird security guard right behind RFK named Thane Eugene Caesar. And Noguchi says like the shot come within like 6 inches of his head. So it's not Sirhan. And you see weird security things around MLK. And the Secret Service does weird things around JFK. And I don't know the story about Malcolm X, but I do think that the FBI had a lot of agents around him. So what's going on with Kirk? Like, who are these strange people around making weird things and not even going after his body after he got shot? Like, it's almost like they weren't in shock. Like, that's the thing. Like, you would hear that.
They knew what to do. And it wasn't,
it's weird.
Let's save this guy. It just seemed odd.
Like, they just dragged him off. Why didn't they just, like, try to do CPR there? well, what's going
There was
on?
none of that. No,
Yeah.
it looks like maybe things were passed off. It was very odd. The crime scene was dismantled. There can't be any investigation now further into that. Very, very odd behavior by the security people.
Right. So, and you see this kind of thing with the parallax view. This parallax for people is like, if you move to the left or right, your vision will change things. And I think I think Beatty's character's name is Frady, and that's kind of what happens to him after he changes his view, right? So it starts off with a shooting of Carol, and I think Frady's there, right? He's on the needle, and it's really a great shot. Cinematically, it's pretty cool because they're on the top of the needle, and then the patsy conveniently dies, right?
Right, yeah. So after the shooting, so they're there up on the needle. After the shooting, he gets chased up onto the roof, and then falls off. Very conveniently, right? Yeah. And this shot here, just personally, it just makes me think of RFK. Some of those famous shots of RFK on the ground, and they're tending to his neck. And everything, so that's just something that I see from that.
Yeah, I would love to show video, but I don't think YouTube won't allow it. Yeah.
What clip do you want to show?
Well, what happens next, right? So, like, time passes. He also plays an investigative journalist, which is interesting because I think in the book he's a cop, like the main character's a cop.
Oh,
so it's kind of, yeah. So I think they changed that in the book. Yeah, let me see.
That's quite different.
It's a lot different. Yeah, and I think it's a good kind of convenient kind of thing because he's on this kind of investigative search, right?
Yeah. So before we play your clip, and before we move on from this kind of part of the movie, I just wanted to point out a few things that I personally noticed. So it's on Independence Day. We have what's her name? Lee Carter. She's one of the witnesses of the assassination that eventually gets killed off. And it's interesting because she's wearing, she's dressed in similar colors as Jackie Kennedy on November 22nd, 63. That's one thing that I noticed. Also, her comment about, some say they don't know which party he belongs to. So they're already building him up as kind of a I'm having a moment here. They're already building him up as a figure of a conflicting figure. They don't know if he's they call him an independent politician. They don't know what party he belongs to. And then she says something else after they show him here driving by. She says he's an ideal father if you're young enough, an ideal husband if you're old enough, and an ideal leader of any age. And it's just like they're kind of building him up like to be like a Kennedy character already. That's just what I got from it. And then she makes the comment about the wife, kind of painting her to be kind of like a Jackie Kennedy. Oh, you're always wonderful and smiling in your photographs. So yeah, those are just a few things that I noticed. But what clip do you want to show? Is it before the assassination?
I don't know. I'd rather not show any kind of video, honestly.
Okay.
Unless you want to. I mean, I just got my YouTube channel back. I don't feel like losing it again.
All good. What scene do you want to talk about now?
Well, she confronts Beatty Frady that she thinks she's going to be killed, right?
Right. So after the Warren Commission,
right.
There we go. So 3 years later, and yeah.
Right. So like 3 years later, she confronts him. at the house. She's paranoid. He doesn't believe her, right?
Yeah.
He's like, no.
And then he starts, where is it? They're talking about the commission report, just like the Warren Commission report, right? And then Frady starts listing off all the convenient, inconvenient ways that the people had died. And then he learns that 2 more have died. And one of them was a 40-year-old who died from a heart attack, which seems to be like a classic thing. Someone dying super young from something that, usually doesn't kill someone so young. And he also does kind of like a callback here to JFK, RFK, I would assume like MLK and Malcolm X. People were crazy for an explanation. And he talks about, some nut was knocking someone off, the best men in the country, and all stuff like that. So, it's very
right.
Very
so the lone nut theme is there, right? So it's they understand that the lone nut element is involved in this. Drowning, so accidental, like SNP drowning.
A fishing accident.
Right. So they've got, and it shows like almost how in real life, like there was like, I think it's Richard Belzer's book Hit List, right? Where he goes through and there's like 40 strange deaths after JFK from very early.
Great book.
For like 10 years, even into the 70s, actually. Because once they started doing these House Committee on Assassinations and stuff, people were supposed to show up there in the 70s and then ended up dead.
That's
like
right.
Rosselli and the Sam Giancana.
That's right.
So, you can just go to the next slide.
So then she ends up dead, obviously.
Right. So she ends up dead, and then he goes to the he goes to the morgue, right? And what's her? She's supposedly overdosed, right?
Yeah. She was alcohol, and apparently she was driving
the wheel of a car. Right. Wow. It sounds like reminiscent of Marilyn Monroe or something. Barbiturates.
Right.
So go to the next one.
So now he's meeting up with his contact.
They blame it on her. They blame her, the death on her. Some people want to die.
Yeah.
It's like a turn.
So now he's meeting with his ex FBI friend, and the first thing he asks is about the heart attack.
Right.
And he tells him about the pep pill. So
you got a pill for it, a pep pill. Yeah.
Makes them look like they have a heart attack. So now he decides he wants to go undercover. And this guy, obviously, it's a good idea. He decides that you got to have 2 covers. So he gives them one name, but then he says if they investigate the first one, they'll be less careful with investigating the second one. So they end up giving them 2 covers, getting 2 different fake IDs, which does comes up again in the film. They look past the first one, and then the second one I think holds.
Right. So this is his cop buddy, right?
Yeah. So they want to make him a weenie wagger. Gives him a reason why he wants to hide his identity. So it's all interesting. It's interesting how he's kind of creating himself to be. I mean, this is throughout the whole movie. He's creating himself to be the perfect patsy, right?
Right. It's like that's when the interesting twist of the whole thing is like he never keys in that it's going to be used against him, right? Like he's a psychopath. And this there's elements in this film that tie into reality, which is like psychological tests and, things going out. There's this guy Gittinger in the CIA, and that's what he did. He would give people these tests to try to determine their innate psychology. So it really was real. And this is like something that happens when he discovers the Parallax Corporation.
So he's at the bar, kind of scouting things out at Salmon Tail or wherever, and this is where he meets the deputy and the sheriff. Gets into a big old bar brawl with the deputy, which is interesting. He's just an investigative journalist, but he's able to pull a fight on this sheriff's deputy. So yeah, here we go. Meets the sheriff, and then he thinks that this guy's kind of helping him, right? They have some drinks. They're talking about suspicious details in the story, and he makes it seem like, okay, well, we'll take you to where this last guy died on his fishing accident, and we'll look in to see if we can
drowned, right?
Yeah, exactly. So and then here they go. They're at the dam and the water's coming down, and the alarm's going off, and he realizes that, well, there's no way this guy could have died, there's no way this guy could have just drowned. Like, he obviously would have heard the alarms and whatnot, and then that's when he realizes that he's being brought out there to be killed.
And apparently they decided on these shots that pervade the whole film as like very distant shots. One of the things that I researched is like a lot of darkness, like really intentionally dark lighting, and observance from a great distance, like Beatty's being watched, which is intentional. So I think it conveys like this kind of he's being watched view, which I think is right. Because he is being watched. At a certain point, he is being watched.
I love that. I'm just noting that because that is huge.
Yeah,
I love that. That's like that's why I love Kubrick movies so much, because he's so creative and he does so much wild stuff. So you got to pay attention. So that's why I like going over these movies with you. That's a good one. I like that a lot. So yeah, he gets into a fight with this guy, and he ends up drowning. The sheriff ends up drowning. And then he drives back to the sheriff's house, and that's when he finally gets the clue on the Parallax Corporation. Finds the test. So then he goes back, he reports back to his boss, and he realizes that there's no APB. The police aren't looking for him. They said that the cop drowned accidentally. It's all just kind of conveniently covered up, right? They don't want to answer questions.
Right. So then this is his boss, right? So this is the guy at the newspaper who's going to make the decision on his investigation, right?
Exactly.
On Frady or Beatty's investigation.
And he goes even further to say that the sheriff and his deputies were indicted on another case. So he's saying, you're not onto anything. You're onto something that you didn't know what you were on, but you're not really onto something that you think you're on. They were in trouble for something else, so they weren't suspicious of you because of what you're looking at. But then he kind of rebuts it. So yeah, he says it wasn't any national conspiracy he was covering up, and then he rebuts him and says, I didn't tell him I was a reporter. He didn't have my real name, so he didn't know what was going on there.
Right.
So, and then the next scene is very interesting. That's when he visits his buddy here.
Buddy, right, with the chimpanzee.
Yeah, yeah. And he goes over the test.
Right, so this is like the testing thing I was talking about. This was kind of a known thing in the 50s and 60s. These psych tests, personality tests. They actually use them in Scientology. to try to suss you out, see where your weak spots are.
Right. Yeah.
One of the other things too about this film, it's like the paranoia. You know, you can cut it with a knife. It's the cliche. It's really true, but it happened. I think the film was released during the Watergate hearings, or Watergate was taking place.
Okay.
So, like this backdrop of the paranoia. So all the President's Men hadn't been made yet. So this is released, and it was released 1 week away from the release of Chinatown, which is another kind of like, you know, dark underbelly type of film, right? And,
Absolutely.
one of the writers who got the, I think, Academy Award for Chinatown did a rewrite of the Parallax View. His name was Robert Towne, Towne. So it's kind of an interesting overlay. And I think this film was overshadowed by Chinatown. I think Chinatown won the Best Picture as well.
Okay.
But I think if you watch this again, the film holds up, man. From 1974, for me, Parallax View is still. So is Chinatown. So is Chinatown.
Oh yeah. I mean, personally, I love movies between like 50s and 80s. Those are like, or even 70s specifically. Those are my absolute favorites. So yeah. But even for other reasons, yeah, these are still, you know, the old school Manchurian Candidate, Parallax View. They're really really good. I mentioned to you, I watched. Have you seen Targets? I watched Targets for the first.
Oh, you told me about that. Yeah,
that was an interesting one. I would check that one out. It's another kind of lone gunman kind of movie, essentially, and it's an interesting take. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting movies that have been made back then. You just got to find them, right? And some of them tell some very interesting stories, just like we were talking about the Frank Sinatra movie Suddenly, which is so eerily similar to the JFK assassination.
Right.
So
Mission Impossible films, I didn't know that. That makes sense. Towne was a great writer. Dystopian Deep Dives. How's it going? Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. How long it stays, I don't know.
Right on. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's shot very darkly. If you watch it, it's not the weird. It's not like it's done in a soundstage, like a close soundstage or something like that. It's clearly like outdoors, wide angle views, paranoia. But yeah, if you want to go back to the slides.
Sure. So, yeah, so this is where he picks apart the thing, and he asks them what they're trying to determine, and he says, well, it seems like they're trying to pull out anger, repression, frustration, different things like that. And then he asks them, you know, could it pick up potentially homicidal characteristics? And he says, like a killer? Yeah. So that's when the things, I mean, if you're watching it for the first time, that's probably when things start to get really clear of what's going on, right?
Right.
And then he asks him, you know, will you sit down with me and tell me what answers would come from a highly violent person? And he just so happens to have like some criminal there. Yeah, here, we'll let Ernie take it. He'll blow him right off the graph. He hacked up his great aunt and he killed 2 ticket takers at a movie theater. So yeah, it's interesting how they have the perfect subject to help them get what answers they want, right?
Right.
So yeah, he obviously takes the test, and yeah, they get exactly what they want from him.
Yeah, go to the next one.
So the next one is just when he's meeting with Austin Tucker.
Right. This is the campaign manager.
Correct.
For the senator, right?
Yeah, Senator Carroll. That's right.
Right, Senator Carroll.
So then he wants to show him some photos that were taken at the Space Needle. And then he shows him this shot, which shows, I believe those are both of the shooters. There's the actual shooter, kind of Sirhan like guy.
Right. And that's then, the real brought-in killer right there, yeah.
And then there's the backup guy who comes more throughout the movie. There he is again.
The Parallax employee, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's the whole thing. When these things are set up, like somebody's not going to get out alive, and there's all kinds of people involved. It's usually not just one or two. It's a whole squad. Like I think it was Lisa Peace's book, A Lie Too Big to Fail. They had teams on every exit of where Robert Kennedy could go. That's what she said. So like if he didn't go out through the pantry, they were going to get him in some other spot, you know? Like that's how crazy it was. So I think that like they overarch, they front load all this stuff. Somebody's going to be somewhere sometime. Just like when you see Charlie Kirk, there was the strange Zen guy who made a distraction. People are seen in the audience with guns. I mean, just a lot of really weird stuff. The high-tech overflying drones people have found. Like, what the heck is that doing there? Moving at a very strange... The drone was moving in parallel with the wall of the building at UVU. Like it wasn't doing some kind of strange flight. It was doing it in a very sophisticated, controlled manner. So,
I haven't heard about the drones in the Kirk.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a drone. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. It's a high-tech drone. It's supposed to look like a little bird, but I mean that's another exemplar of like what the heck is going on? Why is that? And like Netanyahu's talking about drones. Like, I'm not saying that drone was the one that killed him, but there's like high-tech drone. Like, it's crazy. Oh, there it is. Yeah. See if I can bring this up. But like the technology. And I think that what they were trying to convey at Parallax View at this time is this kind of was the high-tech stuff. Like they were, you know, we'll see later on, you know, other things like when he's in that kind of like mind control thing, like that to them at that time was like top media type stuff. Can you bring that up?
Absolutely.
All right, so the first...
There's one right there. It's at the very top. But it's moving in a strange fashion.
2.
It moves so fast.
Right here.
Oh.
That's not the best. This isn't the best one that I have. The other one is somewhere else. Let me see if I can find the other one. That's not the best one. Do you want to continue with the slides?
Absolutely. So then, yeah, after they have their conversation, what happens?
Boat blows up.
Boat blows up. 3 perish in boating accident. So it's just, you know, they're showing another newspaper clipping about this suspicious death. It's just like such a consistent script with these guys, right?
Right. I just didn't have that drone thing set up. I have it somewhere.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time. And then he goes back to his boss, and then that's when
he's supposed to be dead on that boat, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So he tries to use this to his advantage. Goes to his boss and says, you know, you're the only one that knows. Don't tell anyone. Which, if you've ever seen like The Departed or any similar cop movie where he's going undercover and like only his lieutenant knows or something similar to that, that could be very problematic if that guy gets killed off, right? So some foreshadowing there. And this is where he tells them, yeah, who's ever behind this is in the business of recruiting assassins, which is just a wild concept to think of.
I mentioned in a show earlier this week about Narut. Have you ever heard of Narut?
Narut?
Yeah, N-A-R-U-T. That's a question. Have you ever heard of Narut? A guy named Narut.
I don't think so. Sorry, I was muted. I don't think so.
That's fun. He was a military commander who, like, their job was to recruit assassins from. He wrote a paper, and their job was to recruit assassins from convicted criminals in jails, and then distribute them around the world. He wrote a paper about it, and then he walked it back. I have to do a show on the route because he's so important, and it ties into this guy Boatner, Bettner. If you remember Waltz, he supposedly was instructed by Waltz to kill 2 politicians in Minnesota, and it was taken right off the media. But yeah, Narut's really important.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll do a show on Narut.
Interesting. And then he goes back home, and they reach out to him. The Parallax Corporation. They tell him, you've got some very interesting scores. Obviously, he had the guy help him fill it out just how they would probably want it. So it's safe to say that's why they got back to him so quickly. And during this whole scene, I kind of really like the scene because he's just playing such a character. He's playing like, oh, I don't give a shit about this, and he's trying to be like a really aggressive guy and just show off those tendencies that they're looking for. You know, he's cooking. He's cooking in his little stove in his little apartment, and he's, a little loner, and then he burns himself, and he freaks out, and he's violent, and he's kind of being an asshole and asking questions like, why do you want to know this, and what's the deal? And so I thought that was pretty well written. And then he even says, the very quality that gets you into trouble makes you potentially invaluable. And he says, what's that? And he says, your aggressiveness.
Right.
So
you can play that. Can you post that comment by Dystopian Deep Dives, please? Just click on it on StreamYard. I can't do it.
This one?
The report in the Sunday Times.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where did it go?
It's the most 1138, just right at the very bottom. It's on StreamYard.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
You must have got it first. Sorry. There you go. Thomas Narut.
Yep. Paper on anxiety and stress. This is like mind control stuff. You put people in traumatic situations and then adjust their brain. But he was like a naval psychiatrist and a Boys Town background too. It's a whole nother show. I have to do it, but it kind of ties into this. It ties into this.
That's awesome. That'll be an interesting. That'll be a good one for sure.
I'll have to put it together. Yeah, so the aggressive. So this is the intermediary between Frady/Beatty and the Parallax Corporation, right?
Yep, exactly. So then after
people want to watch my live streams, you can actually I used to live stream a lot to Rumble, X. Go to my X page because I'm not censored there, and then Rockfin too. So I've just been able to stream back on YouTube, and both of my channels have been monetized. So I don't know how long this will last. I don't trust them, but in the interim, you can go to X, Rumble, or Rockfin and just follow me there.
Beautiful. Always good to see you coming out on top, man. You deserve it. That's for
I don't know. YouTube did me dirty.
Yeah. They do a lot of freaking people dirty, unfortunately. So I hate to see it happen to you. Okay, so after he gets this visit, he goes for his
Right.
experience.
So this is the assassin training montage, right?
That's
And
right. So should we just play? Should I just play that?
I don't know if you. I think we should just stay away from video. It's
Yeah,
important,
okay.
and it kind of reflects what Alex DeLarge went through in A Clockwork Orange, which I think
Exactly.
came out
Thank you. Exactly. Let me find a little bit of a.
Clockwork Orange was 71.
Okay, so here's a little write up on the montage just for people. I mean, hopefully you guys have seen it by now. So most of the images used in the assassin training montage were of anonymous figures or important historical figures, featuring, among others, Richard Nixon, Hitler, Pope John, Lee Harvey Oswald. They show the picture of him getting shot. They show Marvel superheroes like Thor, and they're showing it's juxtaposed with different caption cards like love, mother, father, home, enemy, happiness, me. So it also the montage also captures the confusion of post-Kennedy America by demonstrating the decay of values and long-standing traditions. And just like you said, it's been compared to the brainwashing scene in Stanley Kubrick's 1971 film Clockwork Orange. So it's obviously it's trying to implant many different ideas into his brain on all these different subjects.
In an isolated room, right? And he's stuck watching straight ahead. So these are all kind of techniques. So it's really interesting. And I think there's a couple shots where he's really taken like far away, like he's at the back of some theater or something like that.
Yes, that's right. On his way out, he sees the guy, the shooter, the employee, the every guy, right?
From the Space Needle, right?
Yep, exactly. So he follows him. This is a pretty interesting scene. He follows him, and he notices that he's putting luggage onto a plane, and he decides to jump on the plane. And when he notices that, I'm pretty sure I can't remember if it's a congressman or a senator is on the plane, but one of the two. So he realizes
it's another congressman or senator. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another.
So he realizes, they're going for it again, right? They're going to do something again. So I have a interesting comment here in the chat. Pakula died mysteriously. Do you know about that?
He died in November 1998, driving on Long Island Expressway, and a pipe supposedly went through his windshield and killed him. And then the authorities said, it's just a tragic accident. No foul play involved. Wow. Like, that's strange to me. Hit him straight in the head.
How
does that happen? I don't know how that happens. Metal pipe
swerved off the road into a fence.
No. A metal pipe went through his windshield.
No, that's what it says when a driver in front of him hit a metal pipe, causing it to crash through his windshield and strike him in the head. His car then swerved off the road into a fence.
Yeah, crazy.
Jeez. That's awful. So he is. Oh, right on. Got
Thanks,
a nice
Sarah. Thank you.
There. Thanks for that. That's awesome. Always nice to see people supporting the right people. So yeah, he puts he writes on there with soap, and then he realizes that someone's at the door, so they're gonna know it's him writing the note. So he erases it, and then he decides to write a note on a napkin, and he just slips it in there while they're coming around with the drink cart, and eventually she sees it, and they throw everyone off the plane.
And then the plane blows up too, so it really was a live bomb, right?
Oh, did the plane blow up? I thought they got everyone on.
I thought it blew up off screen.
You're right. My mistake. Yeah, totally. I'm just not remembering the explosion. Yeah, so he was able to help avert that. Where are we next? Oh yeah, so he gets home, and he goes into his dark apartment, and Buddy's lying on his bed there, and he says, "We already have an offer for your services." And he says, "From who?" "Manufacturers Intelligence Group." MIG.
So this whole thing is that I think they're knowingly playing off of the notion of what Permindex was. Are you familiar with the whole story of Permindex?
Permindex.
So Permindex, Clay Shaw was the one that Garrison criminally prosecuted, right? And he was in a subsidiary of this group called Permindex.
Oh, Permindex.
It's Permindex is a portmanteau. It's a mix of, it's like permanent industrial displays or something like that, or exposition.
Permanent industrial exposition. Yep.
Yeah, Permindex.
You got it.
But back then, those were places where businessmen could go and network. And so like a lot of rich people or, influential people were there. But it was like mob connected. There were guys in the, spooks. Joe Bonanno of one of the crime families was in there. So it's just like, it was very dark. And like there were supposedly payments. Like some people have said that Permindex was an essential component of the JFK assassination because that's how payments were distributed through like money laundering. And that's kind of what this manufacturer's intelligence group sounds like. It's something like that. And Shaw was definitely connected. He was the right guy to kind of sue. He was a Knight of Malta, was a decorated military veteran of World War II. So he was connected. There's no question about it.
Interesting. Well, that's all it's just kind of like those cookie cutter details that just keep coming up.
Permindex is another show like Naruto. Permindex.
Okay. Gotcha.
Naruto.
So he tapes the conversation that he just had with his handler. He gives it to his boss. His boss listens to it and puts it in this envelope here. And then his food comes, which he gets a sandwich ordered earlier in the movie, and now he's getting another meal ordered, and he realizes, oh, it's a new guy working, making the deliveries, and who is it? Mr. Parallax.
Right.
So
The already trained assassin, going all the way back to Senator Carroll.
that's right.
So he had a massive coronary. So all these people are dying again.
Yeah. And then, boom, the money's not taken. It wasn't a robbery, nothing like that. It was just they took the evidence. That's all they needed. So
This
here's
is actually a real scene in downtown LA. So you can actually go to the site of Parallax View here. It's in between downtown LA and Koreatown. That building is still there.
Do you know what that building is?
It's a federal building, yeah.
It is a federal building. Okay, I thought
I can bring it up on Google Maps.
Sure. I feel like I've seen that many times, actually. For some
It
reason.
may have been in other things. It's It's from an era where it looks super modern. I don't know if it has that same panache right there, but at one point it was. It's across the street from a church, I think. Where is it? You can just continue.
Sure. So he is again. He's meeting with his handler again. These next few events kind of confuse a few people, so it's good we can go over this. I noticed reading comments on other sites, some people were confused by what happens in these next couple scenes. But anyways, he's meeting with his handler and he's telling him to go somewhere. He's going to meet with a team member. And when he goes to the hotel to meet him, you can't really tell from here, but the guy checking in, that's actually the deputy of the sheriff that was killed, the deputy that he got into a fight with earlier. So that's obviously sketchy. So now we know that this guy works for Parallax too. I guess he doesn't necessarily know or think he's getting set up. He just knows that this is going to be trouble. So what he does is he makes a phone call to the guy's room. He just essentially tells him there's been a change of plans. Don't unpack your bags. And he leaves him some money at the front desk, probably to help him make it more convincing. And he gives him instructions to fly to Honolulu, kind of gets him off his back, right? At that point, he returns to Parallax, just to kind of snoop around, and then he notices, I forget who he's following, but he's following, I'm pretty sure it's the regular, or the guy that keeps popping up, Mr. Parallax, the other assassin. So he's following him into this, I guess it's like a convention center, something like that, which is where they are practicing for, which I assume is like a kind of a campaign-like event or a rally.
It's like a nominating committee, like JFK.
Right?
Something having to do with the nomination. Big enough to be in a convention center.
Yeah. And I forget, what's the guy's name? Is it like Senator Hammond? I think his name's
Hammond. I think you're right.
Hammond. Sorry, Hammond.
That
So it's for Senator Hammond. And this is interesting. So the words used are just very interesting in this next little part. So he's I guess it's the conductor or whatever, the band leader, talking to the band. He says, we got to work smoothly and it'll be a clean, clear picture, just like a clean, clear shot, right? And then he says, which reminds me of 9/11, I'm going to give you a warning: 1, 2, 3, and a command: pull, which is also pull the trigger,
right.
Kind of like 9/11, pull it. From
just strange terms, no doubt.
Right? Yeah.
It's like Charlie Kirk. They're talking about mass shooters. Like, how does
exactly?
This happen?
Exactly.
Like, what do you think about these mass shooters? There's too many of them. Well, what this thing can be stopped with the mass shooters, and then he gets shot.
And then boom.
And it's like almost like it's choreographed.
Like there's something.
That guy who was asking him questions is part of the. I forgot what they were a counter Kirk group. He wasn't an independent. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
I remember seeing an interview with him.
There's a streamer by the name of Destiny. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
He was running this kind of counter Kirk operation, and that guy was part of it. He was one of them, like in the left-wing activist groups.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, and it adds another level of oddity to the Kirk shooting. Like, why are you there at that time? Who sent you there to confront Kirk? And why did the shot or supposed shot take place when you're asking him about mass shooters, which we're in this kind of mass shooter cycle? Like, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Right.
And Destiny, this guy has really weird connections. Like it gets really crazy. So he's like one step off this anti-Charlie thing.
Can we talk? Yeah, can we get into that real quick? Before we...
Well, that's all I know. I don't know what else.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Because he's like, yeah, that Destiny.
I mean, Destiny, I don't know much about him, but
he seems like an interesting
he's
character.
a streamer who is like a left-wing activist. So like there's left-wing streamers or left-wing activists, and there's right wings. And Kirk is on the right, and this guy, Destiny's on the left.
Yeah.
I think he's like trisexual or something like that. I don't really even know. He had some weird connection to Nick Fuentes, and then he's working on this anti-Kirk thing, and a guy from his organization starts asking Kirk about these questions. So there's a lot of weird secret financing all over the place too. So there's a lot more to the Kirk story, kids.
That's where it gets pretty muddy, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. Can you bring up what I brought up on the screen there, the other box? Yeah. So
this is where.
Yeah, you can see him walking.
Oh, that's the actual building. That's the Parallax building.
That's the Superior Court. Now, this was back in the modern sense. This is actually the shape of a monolith, which in certain contexts can be considered like an occult, diet thing. And it's kind of weird, just kind of this triangular pyramidal things propping it up. But it's right here. This is like Koreatown. There's a big church here, First Congregational Church of Los Angeles. And then there's the whole building. And the guy walks by the building at the end, yeah.
Crazy. So there it is. That's the Parallax building. That's so cool, man. Thank you for sharing that. I like that.
You're in LA, you can go check it out.
Yeah, I'd like that. Put that on my list. So yeah, here we go again. Get your concentration here. Make a good, clean, sharp picture. Just sounds like they're talking about taking a shot again, right? So while this is all happening, here we got.
He's still following. Frady is still following this guy, right?
Yes.
He follows him up into the
rafters
of which kind of this overlaps with the end of Manchurian Candidates, the same kind of motif.
Yes, that's right. That's right. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. So here we go. As Hammond comes in, just to kind of go over the plans of the rally or whatever. And as he's driving away, bam.
Takes one, right?
Another assassination.
But Frady doesn't have the rifle. He doesn't have anything, right?
Nope.
Frady's just running around.
So at this point, he's hoping that, okay, I'm about to prevent something. But all of a sudden, boom, a shot goes off, right? And it's like, oh, shit, what's going on? Frady looks down. What does he see? Oh,
wow, a rifle's right there, almost like Kirk, right? They found a rifle in somebody's front yard or something like that.
Something like that, exactly.
Intact. Like he took it apart and then put it back together. Yeah, how does this make sense?
Yeah. So he looks down.
And it's also like an unregistered, it's almost like some kind of Mannlicher Carcano. It's like an unregistered, no serial number 30-06 from World War I. Like, okay, I'm going to go kill a major figure with grandpa's freaking World War I rifle. I have like a 135 IQ. That's the smart move. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because this guy's very smart, right? So,
dude, we know he's smart. He got a scholarship. They gave him money. That you don't trip on that. That means hard work for years.
Right. So wow. So the rifle was from World War I.
Wow, that's the report that I heard. One of the real tells is there's a lot of disinformation and malinformation, which is always a tell in these assassinations, much like the Warren Commission. Like it's total malinformation, the whole Warren Commission. Like who has the power to do that? To make the fake Warren Commission that kind of is what bookends this film, this kind of fake commission. And that's the question you have to ask about JFK and the Kirk thing. Who has the power to distort the facts and keep things cloudy and muddy and murky intentionally, and lay false holes and put in disinformation? Like, there's information manipulation taking place on the Kirk. It's only been 3 weeks. It's still happening right now. It's not clear. So
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all.
he wasn't shot with a 30-06, that's for sure. That's what they're telling us.
So he sees the rifle, and essentially that's kind of when things start to click. Like,
he starts to figure out something's wrong. Frady finally figures out
what's going on here. And then all of a sudden, he's up there with the rifle, and look at that, right? How perfect! How perfect! It's just like kind of similar to Charlie Kirk in a way, where he's up on the roof. He's up on the roof, right? Perfect place to be. So then he starts to, after hiding for a bit and running around, he decides to make a run for it, but boom, someone else sees him. So he's running for. This is a wild scene. The end scene is pretty wild. He's running towards this white light. It's just like the end of the movie. It symbolizes, the end of the movie. It symbolizes, getting away free. It symbolizes life or death. He's so close.
Coming to the truth.
He's coming to, yeah, right. Thank you. But like so many people, when they're so close to the truth, bam.
Which is what it bookends with the intro, where the guy's the waiter, but he's probably not the real shooter, right?
Right.
Did we see him shoot Senator Carroll? I don't think so.
No, he's just there for backup.
Yeah. He's the one that he didn't know he's a patsy till the very end, much like Oswald. He slowly realizes he's the patsy, Oswald does.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I'm the patsy. Oh, shoot. I'm in trouble.
Yeah. What's going to happen next?
He doesn't know it till the very end. He's just swimming around these murky waters. He doesn't know what's happening. And then it's like, now I get it. They were going to kill Kennedy.
Yeah, it kind of, in a way, this kind of symbolizes Oswald too, because like where Oswald went to Russia and was dipping his toe all over the place. This guy is the same thing. He's going into the Parallax Corporation. He's dipping his toe here.
He's setting his own kind of legend.
He's setting it just to stay. He's writing his own legend. Exactly.
Yeah, his own legend.
Exactly.
So we don't see the movie ends, but you can see like that's what they're doing with Oswald. They're making like fair play for Cuba and all this other stuff. And he's a Marxist and all that, which I don't know if there's really that much evidence that he was a really true believing Marxist, but there was enough to make him one.
Oh, right. Which now is like evidence. So-called evidence can be even thinner, and they'll paint it on, right?
Right. This movie is so good, guys. You got to check it out. I know we ruined it, but it's even worth a watch. Just even if you know the whole story, it's just.
Oh yeah, well, it's like those. It's like just like I said, it's like a Kubrick film where you could rewatch it and you can pick out different things.
Yeah.
So, just like you were saying, it bookends with the Warren Commission again, but just like you were saying about Oswald. So here, lone gunman. They revealed Frady was obsessed with the Carroll assassination. So they're making him out to be, this unhinged guy writing his legend yet again, right? So, in his confused and distorted mind, he seems to have imagined that Hammond was responsible for the senator's death.
Right.
And then this is a good one. Right at the end, he says, although I'm certain it will do nothing to discourage the conspiracy peddlers, there's no evidence of a conspiracy. And then, of course, there will be no questions.
It's still the same today.
It's
like, look at where is Kash Patel and where's the conference? of people asking him questions. It's not, that's another tell. It's not happening. There isn't something where like, here's what we know, and I'm telling you, and we're the most transparent, administration ever. The fact that it's not there tells you everything. There's so many tells of like connections and collusion around Charlie Kirk that people just have to be super suspicious. I love the way they use conspiracy peddlers because we haven't gotten away from that label conspiracy. I still get called a conspiracy theorist all the way to today. Conspiracy is the norm, guys. Sorry.
Yeah,
I got to wrap it up, bro. I've been standing for like 3 hours.
That sounds good. Good. Thank you, William. Thank you again for your time. We'll definitely have to bring you back. Before you go, though, for those who aren't aware of where to find you and what you do, can you just let us know?
Yeah, you can. My podcast, I think, is in the top 18,000 podcasts in the world. William Ramsey Investigates. I have 5 documentaries. I post a lot at my Patreon now. I have 5 documentaries there you can check out. And I've got 5 books you can Amazon. You can just buy them off Amazon on a wide variety of different subjects.
Beautiful. All right, William, thank you. And everyone, please check out William's YouTube page, which is now back up and running. Please also check me out on X at Divulgence Pod. You can check us out on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And please help me grow my channel. Please subscribe to the Divulgence Podcast YouTube channel. And everyone, thank you for watching, listening. Thanks to everyone in the chat. And everyone have a great day. Take care.